Business Focus with Kudzie Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast. Business Focus with Kudzie Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Welcome to Business Focus. Every single day right here on Capital, we get to discuss a lot of what's happening in the world of business. Good morning to you, Kudzie. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kudzie. And let's begin by rewinding to yesterday. Okay.
So I've got a question, Tinashe,
All right.
that I want to ask. To ask you, if you were to name any institution, public, either ministry, government department, or government agency, that you would say is the most improved, or that you think has done well in the last year, which one would it be? For me, I've got two, probably. I would put Zimstead. I think Zimstead is doing a good job, especially in terms of disseminating information, disseminating data. They are doing quite a number of surveys. I wonder how many people they played Zimstead, but they are doing quite a number of surveys that are good for decision making. I don't know how big Zimbabwean decision makers are in terms of using data, because that's what can only help you make informed decision. And I think there's a lot that is coming from Zimstead. One of them is the one that we spoke about yesterday, which is the Purchasing Managers Index. You know, in other countries, when that number comes out, it makes big headlines, Tinashe, because it's an important number in other markets. But in Zimbabwe, we share a newspaper. Nobody reports about it and nobody cares. But these are the numbers the world over are used. So I think Zimstead is up there in terms of those that have improved. I would also pick the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe.
Okay.
I think they seem to have adopted in their policy making issues of communication, trying to disseminate information of what they are doing, explaining their policies and things like that. And I think that has also helped. Although I would want more information in terms of their website. I think the weekly reports, the monthly reports should be like faster than they are currently coming out. And then I would also pick which other one can I pick?
Should I also pick?
Yes, you can pick as well. Yes,
Okay.
And we also want others to chip in and pick their own.
I would say number one for me would be Harare Institute of Technology.
Okay, yeah.
HIT.
Yeah.
They are trying
they
their
are doing
best
the
to
most.
bring in technology innovation to Zimbabwe. Tistukutu are later down by not embracing a lot of what they are doing.
Yeah, that tram they said it by October it will be hopefully
Let's just hope it will come.
More about that one. If the Zimura team is listening, the HIT team is listening, please let us know what the latest in terms of those technologies that you are coming up with. There was the tram, there was the one near solar panels,
Lithium batteries.
Those
even
are-
my hebs maguchwa and stuff.
I remember. There was another one that was actually, I think it was before when it medicine and what, Dilane is it licensing of
Medicines Control of Zimbabwe.
something like that.
Medical what? Yeah.
I know they had one was it something to do with HIV, if I'm not mistaken, that was already on the table there.
And then was MCAS. Yeah.
There was something that was it pills or some medical drug that he did developed. I think it's to do with HIV and AIDS, something like that. That was also maybe an update on that as well. So yeah, I think you have picked a good one.
Yeah. I think the other one that I would pick would be, even though they still have a bit of a way to go, but I think Minister of Transport, Marods, Varumbozama.
Yeah, they're trying. I saw
they are trying their best, even though Pachinema major routes that we all feel that they need to be looked into as a matter of agents, like the Kariba one and the Victoria Falls one.
Yes, those two. But I understand on the Victoria Falls one, the contractors are on the ground now, and I'm also happy the one Byte Bridge. There's a stretch that was left along Harare Byte Bridge Road after Mashingo. Yeah, that stretch, it was painful to drive that one, but I understand the contractors are on the ground. And then the Harare Bindura one, after toll gate, before Mazoe, they've done a stretch, which is now this is a road. But the other side now, I said dust.
But no, not even for the Harare Masvingo road. These days, unokwanisa kutomuka makuseni ukaenda Masvingo ukaita zvaunoita ukatodzoka kuHarare.
Harare Masvingo road, but kuzocrossa manje from Masvingo to Byte Bridge. Pane that stretch, ndakaifamba tinasha ndakarwadziwa musiwo, ndakarwadziwa.
It may be the other one as well. Would be, I think they still need to maybe to lower it down to make sure that it attracts a lot of people to use. For me, it will be Air Zimbabwe. To my local flights.
Or
like the one
flights
that they introduced for Mutare.
I wonder how long it will last. But when last week when I went for the Zimbra strategy, some of the officials flew to Mutare.
To Mutare.
Yes, and 30 minute flight to Mutare. You know, just 30 minutes instead of 3 hours. Yeah, I think. So we need those smaller crafts. I think Kariba needs that as well. Because road Diama one, and then also yes, there are flights to Victoria Falls, but I think they're expensive. Unoenda Joburg or fly into Victoria Falls cheaper than from Harare to Vic Falls.
Yeah, I think
I think they need to sort that one out. So maybe Dark Horse also Zinara, I think. I think they are also doing well. Yeah.
So we also want to hear from you. Which government institution would you say is actually doing well? They've actually lived up to their expectations in whatever service they are giving you. Let's hear from you on our WhatsApp platform 0719 100404. You can also call us in on 0772 269 229 or 0772 269 241. As we wait up for your calls, we rewind to the 6th of October 2025 and look at how the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange traded.
Thank you, Tinashi. So I also before I talk about the ZSC, I want to talk about gold. Gold is rallying. The bulls are rampaging. It's almost at 4,000 now. I think yesterday it crossed 3,900
per ounce.
And I'm seeing Goldman Sachs. They've actually revised their gold projections they are now saying by December 2026 gold could reach 4,900, and I think it could be actually an underestimation there when they are saying 2026 it will get. Are they saying if this year we are already talking about almost 4,000, I'm sure we'll get to 4,000 anytime this month. So maybe by the end of the year, that 4,300 that they had projected for December 2026 would have been breached. And I think the next year, you can actually maybe get to 5,000. But although some people are now talking of a correction is where the price will come to its maybe true value. There's formal fear of missing out and things like that, which could push a price. And then people then realize this is now overbought, and then some people start taking profits, and then there's a correction in the price. But according to Goldman Sachs, they are saying we see the risks to our upgraded gold price forecast are still skewed to the upside on net. So they're saying all these central banks that are buying gold, and also people that are just diversifying into the gold market. So it's interesting to watch the gold price. And then now talking about the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, I think the story hasn't changed much. We continue to see sideways trading, but with a bias towards the negative. Well, at some point the all share index was in the negative by just 3%, but now it's back to 6.1%. So it shows that the buyer's side is a little bit stronger, although we continue to talk about flat to sideways trading. So the All Share Index yesterday losing 0.41%, the top 10 index coming off by 0.62%. On the back of losses in OK Zimbabwe, 11.82% down. So OK Zimbabwe continues to struggle there. FML also coming down by 5.27%. Marsh easing 2.06%. Econet continues to suffer from profit taking down by 1.88%. And then Tanganda a marginal 0.04%. So you can see the market being dragged lower by just about 4 counters that recorded losses there. On the upside, Star Africa recovering from the previous day's losses, up by 4%. Ariston adding 3.24%. Citgo putting on 3.23%. Tenau and Delta also recording marginal gains of less than 1%. So again, you can see that not much movement when it comes to share prices. And then the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange closing positive by 0.73%. Its year-to-date gain is currently sitting at 42.63%. And it's one of the top performers, but it's not the top performer in Africa. There are other stock exchanges that have actually done well than our beloved Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. I think the Lusaka Stock Exchange in Zambia is amongst the top African stock markets, as well as I think the one in Ghana also has done well more than the ZSC. So yeah, this has been interesting, but at least we have got the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange up there.
Right, Kudzie, thank you so much for that. And you mentioned the central bank as one of the most improved institutions. Why did you include them onto that list?
Thank you, Tinashe. So actually,
considering a message that I'm picking up here on WhatsApp says that ini hangu ndinofunga kuti RBZ haisi kutipa enough information panyaya yema newly designed zig notes. Hatili kuti pazoita confusion nekuti vanhu tinenge tisina ruzivo.
Yeah, I think well, judging from the past, when it comes to new notes, once they're out there, they will then they'll do a full blitz of making sure that you start to see those features acho mumapepa, social media, maybe because saka they can't share a full information. You're not going to design it. No guys, I'm not happy with this one. What did you got this pakati? It comes back and you're like, okay, improve on it and stuff. Because I don't think we have got a chance to make another mistake like what we did with the current notes that don't look like money at all, especially in terms of their durability and stuff. Bond paper. So I don't think there is a chance to make another mistake. So they have to do it right, and I'm sure they will communicate in due time. I'm also receiving a message on my phone. I haven't saved the number of, but someone sent me a message and says, "I think you are right about the Reserve Bank. That is why you find the Reserve Bank governor is hated by speculators that had borrowed money in a speculative trajectory, hoping that Zig is going to crash and they can catch on the crash." So that's someone they didn't send me their name, but they sent me a direct message. You see, for example, now Tinashe, something that I don't think the previous governors had done something like this. So it's almost like it's more than a year after Zig was launched, and the RBZ is currently doing a survey. I'm not sure if you come across the survey that they are doing, which they are calling the Zig Perception Confidence Survey. The Zig, and it's actually the second time that they're doing this Zig perception survey, and some of the questions there are interesting actually, Tinashe, and I think you need to look at that survey because they talk about whether you've used the Zig, how many times do you use Zig, what is your source of Zig, but also interesting for me is in terms of they say in your experience, which business operators have been difficult to deal with when transacting in Zig, and I saw that they've put fuel stations there. That one is actually a non-starter. It's not even about them being difficult, but it's a non-starter. They don't accept Zig. Educational institutions as well. Zvikoro zvekuramba mafees atutaura kuti guys kana muchida kuti tisarambe tichikukwidzirai mafees ngatingowirirana kuti USD chete.
Passport offices,
yeah, those ones are actually non-starters. They're not difficult kunoona kuti anomboramba ozongo kuti mushini wakafa on stuff like that, but vanotongoti izvo hatitambiri vhiki. Another interesting question for me there is they are also asking you kuti how do you rate the stability of this vhiki? I think that one a lot of people would agree to. It is stable. What was that's one thing that they're doing. And I think on social media yesterday, I also saw that they've launched what they're calling there's a name that they're giving it. But they actually launched that Yamanot service charter. And I think that service, when you look at that service charter, I think Tinashe, it's something that we can then ask people as well to comment on. Kuti per service charter, they are talking about there are a few issues that they are talking about in terms of that service charter. Kuti munoiona say Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe in terms of how it is conducting its business. And one of the things that they promise in that service charter, issue a transparent and issue a inclusiveness and responsive to service to all stakeholders. Do you think the RBZ has been transparent? Maybe doing a question on in terms of my new notes was transparent
dissemination.
Yeah, that's but these are the things that are in this service charter that they launched this week, where they are talking about their pledge to provide efficient, transparent, and inclusive and responsive service. So
if they follow that, I think things will be
in the last year, do you think they've been transparent? Do you think they've been efficient?
Yeah, personally, I would say yes, they've been transparent in having the central bank accepting kuti Joshua bond not is not a bond, not the zig note that we have. It's of low quality. That's being transparent enough.
Yes, and trying to have a corrective measure. Then maybe we also want to hear from you. Please tell us what you think about the Reserve Bank. That's my pick in terms of one of the most improved institutions.
Along the way, as we pick up your calls, probably 2 or 3 calls because our time is running out. We'll read out some of the messages as well on WhatsApp. Eddie in Hatfield is saying that to me, the Minister of Agriculture has been a top performer, breaking records in tobacco production and being self-sufficient in wheat as a result of the winter wheat program.
Yeah, my ministries, I think they've done the most as well. Yeah.
Okay. Another one says this one is in South Africa. Hubert in South Africa. It says number 1, my top performer is RBZ. Number 2, Zimra. Number 3, Zinara.
Yeah, interesting.
That's somebody
as well. Yeah.
Let's see some of the messages. Interesting performance for gold. Therefore, the government must move to stockpile gold reserves at RBZ. It's a good move. What happens when the gold value falls? What is the impact on the strategy? I think it's a question along the way.
Yeah, so if you are going to be stockpiling gold, I may not. Do you have to time the market? Because imagine if gold is at almost like 4,000 and you have got gold, you might want to sell. I did obata cash my USD, but I know of inflation is but. Ukachengeta gold at 4,000, rozodona roenda 3,000 again. You'll be like, oh, I should have sold it 4,000 and kept my reserves. So the reserves that you're talking about, imwe yacho reserves are in gold, which you never know what will happen with the price. Anogona kudzika tapa 900 million reserves, then gold radona tadzika futi in terms of our reserves.
Someone is asking here, and the statutory instrument yema taxes iri kuuya rini? It's now almost over a month.
Yeah, and it's something that I asked last week, and I think it's before the Attorney General to make sure that it comes on. But we were actually talking about it last week and say, guys, it has to be like faster. Mbomisa zvimwe zvinhu zvese AG muitese
payments
saka I think we need to do it, especially considering kuti takangoita a few sectors and hasata implementwa.
All right, Kudzie, let's hold it here for today, and we cross over for the news at 8.
Business Focus with Kudzie Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.